Hello guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another Premier League predictions video, and I know what you're thinking. Two things. One, look at the trim. I'm going to give you a little spin. Jeez. And secondly, this isn't just any other Premier League predictions video, it's Halloween. It's not very festive, is it? Well, honestly, what am I doing to myself? It's Halloween, so why not dress up? I mean, I'll be honest, I've put in minimal effort here, but you'll be seeing more of this stuff in my career mode video on Saturday. Plus, just as a little teaser for you guys, all I'm going to say is beware of the spirits. So there's all of that to look forward to. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So last week, I completely degraded myself, as I like to do so often. I mean, I'm practically doing it now. And I begged you guys to comment your predictions, and we had one. Not only was it one, but it was from my good mate, Finn Campbell. So Finn, you're a legend, mate. I love you. The one thing that struck me the most is, as an Arsenal fan, you went for a 0-0 with Villa. But you know what? It ended up working better than you thought, so it's not too shabby. Aside from that, though, there's some very decent predictions, aside from obviously the Man United Liverpool one. But to be fair, mate, I had a stink with that one as well. But thank you very much for commenting, mate. Anybody who wants to get shout out on the next video, please comment. I don't like doing this. Look at me. I look like a prat as it is. I don't need to sit here and beg you guys to comment on my video, but I will if that's what it takes. A little shout out to Klazza as well, who comments on a lot of my videos. You're a legend, mate. Honestly, I appreciate it so much. So thank you very much. Getting into my predictions though, and it was better. You know what? It's better than the last couple of weeks, but it still wasn't great. I only beat my worst score by 2 points. My aim of using stats for the Chelsea-Norwich one clearly didn't work. I wasn't too far off of the Arsenal score. I correctly predicted a Watford win in the Everton game, and I correctly predicted the Leeds Wolves game, which, you know, basically saved me, because aside from that, I had a stinker. Liverpool blew Manchester United away, but we'll get into that later on in the video. Fucking hell, you can piss off. Look at that, lads. Black cat. No! You're just a little attention seeker at this point, probably thinking what the fuck is on your head. Oh shit. Without further ado though, guys, let's get into the first prediction. It is Leicester at home to Arsenal. A mid-table clash for these two sides, and two teams that you wouldn't really expect to be mid-table at this point of the season. They've both beaten each other in their last 2 games in the Premier League, which I think really characterises how close of a fixture this is going to be. Arsenal are unbeaten in their last 5 games, and this is their first real test since that Spurs game. Leicester, on the other hand, have won their last 2 games in the Premier League, drawing the 2 before that, so are unbeaten in their last 4 games. I think the emergence of Smith Rowe being a more poignant figure in this Arsenal dressing room is going to have had a very strong effect for them this season, and I think he's going to have a good game. I'm struggling to pick a winner between the two sides because Vardy's in great form. You've got the likes of Daka or Iheanacho who could easily switch in and provide goals if he's not providing, and Arsenal are ultimately looking a lot better than people thought at this point. I'm going to go for a flat 1-1 draw. I think it's going to be an entertaining game, but I can't quite pick a winner between the two sides, hence why I'm going for a draw. Next up, and we've got Burnley at home to Brentford, the battle of the bees. I say it week in and week out about Burnley, about how they look so flat and uninspired. However, that seems to have changed with the arrival of Maxwell Cornet, who for myself, by the way, is a football manager legend. Will he be enough to inspire an upset against Brentford? Maybe, but I can't quite see it. Brentford won in their EFL Cup game midweek, and I think they're going to carry that confidence into their game this weekend. With that being said though, they have lost their last 2 games, obviously against Chelsea and Leicester, so this is a big opportunity for them to see if they can pick themselves up and carry on and pick up that form that they had before those 2 losses. And I think they're going to do so, but just not yet. I don't know, there's just something about this fixture and the way that Burnley have been reinvigorated by that signing of Maxwell Cornet that I just can see them snatching a draw here, so I'm actually going to go for another 1-1 draw in this fixture. Might be a little bit unpopular, but I can see Burnley being stubborn and holding them out for a draw. The next 3 o'clock kickoff that we're going to move into is Liverpool at home to Brighton. Now, Brighton are a team not to be underestimated, reflected in the fact that the last 2 times that these 2 teams played each other in the Premier League, Brighton won and managed to hold Liverpool to a draw in those fixtures. With that being said though, with the Manchester United game, I said that you couldn't write off Manchester United, and look what they did. With that being said, however, Brighton are such a different force defensively compared to Manchester United, despite their 4-1 loss against Manchester City at the weekend. However, that does show that they are capable of conceding goals. Mo Salah is in the form of his life at the moment, and he just keeps on getting on that score sheet. So if you haven't got him in your fantasy football teams, get it. Actually, don't get him because I'm struggling, so fuck off. Liverpool have scored 10 goals in their last 2 games, winning both of their last 2 games 5-0, which is just ridiculous. I just can't see this going any other way than a Liverpool win, and I'm going to go for a big one. It's no disservice to Brighton whatsoever, but I think that Liverpool are going to trounce them 3-0. It could even potentially be 4, and I'm so tempted to say 4, but there's just part of me that thinks that after the result against Manchester City, they're not going to want to concede another handful. And yes, 3 goals is a handful, but it's better than 4. I think they're going to be better in this game than they were in the last, and I think, as I said, it's going to be 3-0. 4-0 to Liverpool. Speaking of Manchester City, the next 3 o'clock kickoff that we're going to focus on is Manchester City at home to Crystal Palace. Now, if this was about a month or two ago, I'd be saying this is a complete whitewash, but Crystal Palace have actually looked a lot better than they did at the start of the season. Conor Gallagher is a fantastic prospect, obviously on loan from Chelsea. Benteke's finding some form, although missed a hatful of chances in their last game. And that man, Edouard, is just something else. I wanna be Edouard. That's probably my favourite chant of the season, by the way, behind the Kai Havertz song. Manchester City, though, are just a different breed. Like, it's ridiculous. They completely binned off Brighton in the last game. Admittedly, there were some goalkeeping errors from Sanchez in their last game. However, they were still dominant in that game. Crystal Palace have actually not won a game in their last 5 games, picking up draws against the likes of Arsenal, Leicester, Brighton and Newcastle. That draw against Newcastle is a game that they really should have been winning, and I think that Manchester City are going to smell blood. I think they're going to capitalise on this, and I think that they are going to sort of blow them away. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Manchester City. I think the Crystal Palace have shown that they can score goals, but there's no way that they're going to score enough to get the win here. I might live to eat my words for that one, but we'll see what happens. As I say, I think it is going to be 3-1 to Manchester City. They've got enough firepower to blow that team away with their first team or their second team, despite their loss midweek in the Carabao Cup. Up next, and it's a big one, it is Newcastle versus Chelsea. Luca, mate, I'm coming for you. Chelsea have won 4 out of their last 5 games when playing Newcastle. Newcastle winning the other, and I don't think we're going to see anything different here. Chelsea have only lost 1 game this season, which was against Manchester City. The rest have been wins, apart from that impressive 1-1 draw with Liverpool at Anfield. Newcastle, on the other hand, since their takeover, have looked a bit better. I mean, they scored 2 goals against Tottenham, which isn't too hard at this point in time, and they managed to secure an impressive draw against Crystal Palace, who are a team that they really should have been losing to. Realistically, though, I think with the form that Chelsea are in, despite the fact that we have no Werner or Lukaku, I think that we are going to win this one very comfortably, and I'm going to go for a 4-0 win to Chelsea. We haven't been scoring bags of goals, but that 7-0 win against Norwich has really got my juices flowing for this one, and I think that it's going to be big again, and I think we're going to get a 4-0 away win. Also, while we're here, guys, we are halfway through the video, and I just want to take a moment to say, if you can please be so kind to like the video, subscribe, so you don't miss out on any more of these videos. I've got a FIFA video coming out on Sunday, and as I said at the beginning of the video, you're not going to want to miss it because it is going to be very special in more ways than one. It's a Halloween special, and as I said, beware of the spirits. You will see what that means come the video coming out. But as I said, guys, please like, subscribe, comment your predictions down below. I will not ask you, I will ask you again at the end of the video, but please do it because it's class to read them through, and you get a shout out. It's cool. As I've said before, show your mum, show your dad, show your cat and your dog, show whoever. It's cool. It's not cool. Without further ado, though, the next game that we're going to get into is Watford at home to Southampton. Now, Southampton won both of their games against Watford in their last 2 Premier League meetings against these 2 sides. This season, however, they've looked far from impressive. They secured a draw in their last game against Burnley, and really they should have beaten them, but I suppose the absence of the likes of Ward-Prowse didn't help. Unlike a lot of other teams down the bottom end of the table, Southampton aren't losing loads. They've only lost 3 games, but the 5 draws that they've picked up are really hurting them when you need to pick up wins if you want to stay up in this division. Watford, on the other hand, have got 5 losses, 1 draw and 3 wins, which obviously is more impressive in terms of wins against Southampton. However, that 5 losses, they need to cut that out, but again, you know, you're coming into the Premier League, it's to be expected. In fairness, my prediction was for them to be a lot lower down the table than they are, so to a degree they are exceeding my expectations anyway. Watford are a bit of a tricky team to predict because ultimately you wouldn't expect them to pick up points against a lot of the teams in this division. However, then they go and turn on in the last 10 minutes against Everton and win the game 5-2, so anything can happen with Watford, which is quite exciting or maybe frustrating if you're a Watford fan. I think that 5-2 win is going to spur them on in this game. Southampton obviously lost against Chelsea in the midweek fixture, and maybe they're going to carry that into this game, I don't know. But I think that combined with a Watford thrashing at the weekend, I think I'm going to go for a Watford win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Watford. Could be more, could be less, could be a Southampton win, but I'm going for a Watford win. Up next, we've got Tottenham versus Manchester United. 2 arguably disappointing teams so far this season, failing to live up to the expectations. Last season at Old Trafford, you obviously had the 6-1 demolishing that Tottenham bestowed upon them. However, Manchester United were able to rectify that somewhat with a 3-1 win in the other fixture. It's 6th versus 7th, sort of a battle for early Europa League, but ultimately both of these teams are going to want to be challenging for the Champions League come the end of the season. Will they be up there? It's a long old season, so anything could happen. Manchester United have certainly got the team to do it. Tottenham are a bit more in a transitional phase, so it's difficult to say. However, focusing on this fixture, it's going to be a close game, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has really got a lot of work to do to try and win over the fans that he disappointed last week, and obviously it's not just his fault. It is also the players. You've got the likes of Ronaldo who are trying to rally up the dressing room. Sir Alex Ferguson went to the training ground midweek to try and uplift the players a little bit, and Marcus Rashford went to Twitter to apologise to the fans. So they clearly know that they've got a lot of work to do, and it's going to be a really difficult fixture to predict. I'm going to go for a very narrow 2-1 Manchester United win, and I was very close to going to a draw because I can't quite pick out a winner between these two sides. However, I just think that Manchester United really really need to get their asses in gear for this game, and I think they're going to do that. As I said, I think it's going to be 2-1 to Manchester United, an away win. Now, the early kickoff on Sunday is Norwich at home to Leeds United, and last week I stopped myself from going for a Leeds win because I kept predicting it, I kept believing in them to do so, and they managed to actually get the same prediction that I predicted for that game, which was 1-1, which was class. Calvin Phillips is back in the side, and Rafinha is back as well. I'm not overly sure about Patrick Bamford. I'm pretty sure he is still out at present. So going forward, they are going to be quite reliant on the likes of Rafinha and Dan James, who hasn't quite excited in the way that a lot of fans thought he would. Norwich, on the other hand, it just gets worse and worse and worse for them, and that demolition that they face against Chelsea is just not good enough. They're not good enough for this division, and it's a real big opportunity for Leeds to get some points. I think if Leeds had Patrick Bamford in this game, it would give them a lot of potential to go in and thrash this Norwich team, but without him, I don't think it's going to be as humbling. I still think that they're going to win it fairly comfortably, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. At this point, I just can't see Norwich scoring. They look so flat against Chelsea, and in the last few games before that. Leeds, on the other hand, are starting to get the ball rolling, but it's taking time. I don't think that they're going to go in and absolutely walk them away, but as I said, I think they are going to win this game fairly comfortably, and I think it's going to be a 2-0 win. The late kickoff on Sunday is Aston Villa at home to West Ham. West Ham just keep impressing and impressing and impressing in this Premier League campaign. As I keep saying, carrying on their form from last season, they're doing so well, and I thought they'd be a lot lower down the table at this point, considering the fact they've got extra fixtures to play, not only in the EFL Cup, but in Europe as well, which they're also exceeding in all of those fixtures, obviously knocking out Man City midweek on penalties, which is going to give them a hell of a lot of confidence going into this game. Aston Villa, on the other hand, are still sort of yet to get going. You know, it's been a slow, patchy season for them so far. Some brilliant performances, and then some sort of lackluster performances against the likes of Arsenal and Wolves in their last two games. However, beating teams like Everton and Manchester United earlier in the season show their capability against big teams. I think this is going to be a lot closer than people think, and I'm actually going to go for a draw on this one. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw because both sides have got a lot of goal scoring capabilities. I think it's going to be quite an exciting fixture to brighten up a spooky Sunday. Jesus Christ. As I said though, guys, I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. Let me know what you think in the comments, as well as your predictions for the other fixtures, because I love it. The final frightening fixture of this Halloween game week is Wolverhampton Wanderers against Everton. God, I need help. A mid-table clash, but Everton are looking very impressive. Wolves are starting to get into their rhythm a little bit. You know, they've picked up a few good results in their last few games, winning 3 out of their last 4 games, the other of which being a draw. Everton, on the other hand, after an impressive start to the season, have started to sort of trail off a little bit. They haven't picked up a win in their last 3 games. I think this is a great opportunity for Wolves to pick up some points against the trailing Everton. In fact, I'm actually going to go for a Wolves win in this game, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 win. I don't think it's going to be massive because, again, you've got the likes of Rafa Benitez and that defensive solidity that he likes to implement on his teams. And as I said, Wolves are looking more and more dangerous each game that they play. And they're going to be looking to feed off the scraps in this game of Everton. Right, guys, so that is it. I hope you've enjoyed our spooky Halloween Premier League predictions video. If you have, hit a like. If you haven't, please just hit a like for the sake of me wearing this for the whole video, because it's painful. Genuinely is painful. Oh, my eyes. My eyes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Comment your predictions and you will get potentially shouted out in the next video. That'd be cool. Subscribe if you've enjoyed. Like and stay tuned for that career mode special on Halloween. Take care, guys. Thank you for watching. Peace and love.